somebody who's sitting to my right now, and to his right is his belt as being the reigning heavyweight champion of the UFC, Daniel Cormier. Good to see you, Daniel.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
So does that belt travel with you, or it just travels where it just shows up wherever you go?
Sometimes it just shows up, but like I do travel with one.
Okay.
I drive a Prius, and in my Prius in the front seat is one of my belts. I take pictures driving my Prius. I kind of live 30 minutes away, so I got to save the gas.
All right.
I save some gas. I drive my Prius on my belt.
So now, would you wear that? Let's say you go. Let's say Game 3. I assume because you're a Saints fan, you're a big New Orleans Pelicans fan, right?
No, Rockets. I love the Rockets.
Rockets.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So this would be great. Patrick Reed just showed up to the Rockets game in his green jacket. Would you wear your UFC belt to the Rockets game?
If they told me to, right? So I live up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
They play the Warriors in the conference finals as anticipated, and they say, DC, bring the belt. I'm wearing the belt. And I'm wearing the belt to root on the other team with my Rockets jersey. Yeah, I get a lot of flack for that up in the Bay Area because I root for the Rockets. But you know what? Like the Rockets, and yeah, I would definitely wear my belt.
So where did the Rockets love come from? Again, you're from
Louisiana.
Okay, so you're from the.
I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana. So it's like 3.5 hours from Houston. Mm-hmm. And when I was growing up, there were no Pelicans, right? There were the Hornets that already left, right? So you either like the Hawks or you like the Rockets. It was like the two closest teams. And there's also the Astros or the Braves. You had to choose from Houston or Atlanta.
Sure.
And I used to like the Braves in baseball because they were better. And I like the Rockets because I used to like Hakeem Olajuwon. So
yeah, I mean, Marshall Falk was from the Bayou, obviously.
Yeah, he is,
and he always became a Braves fan because of the Superstation.
Yeah, so TBS, all of it plays through the South. So we'd watch them.
Daniel Cormier here on the Rich Eisen Show, also part of The Ultimate Fighter, undefeated, the 27th season of the longest-running reality sports program on television, debuts tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Let's talk about your fighting career right now. Your next fight is against Stipe Miocic, right?
Yeah.
And everybody believes that is just a stepping stone potentially for you to get to Brock Lesnar. Is that a straight line for you too?
You know, man, I think that's what Stipe and I are both. Brock's such a big fight. Right, he brings a lot of new eyes. The WWE eyes follow him. And he's one of those guys that just has this massive appeal. When he steps into the octagon, people watch. And we're fighting for the heavyweight championship. So winning that belt and becoming the 2-division champion is the most important thing to me. But, man, to fight Brock Lesnar would be unbelievable. I've been involved in some big fights.
You sure have.
With the John Jones fights and the Anderson Silva fight. UFC 200, now fighting for 2 belts. And then as I head to the end of my career, to fight a guy like Brock Lesnar would be amazing.
Well, what's it like to fight somebody, you lose to somebody, that somebody then pops for a steroid, and then it's ruled no contest?
It's crazy.
What is that like?
It's crazy because you were there, right? I lost the fight. People can tell me whatever, this, and the other, you didn't get a fair shake. I'm a competitor. I lost the fight. So when I went into my last fight as the champion, I said, I'm fighting for a vacant belt because he disqualified himself again by getting tested positive for steroids. But I don't feel like the champion until I win a fight to earn the belt back.
But you don't think you lost it because you're going against somebody who tilted the playing field?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way, but I lost the fight. And I should have been better. I should have been good enough to beat him regardless of the circumstances. And I wasn't. And he won the fight, so I went and fought a new guy for a vacant belt and won again. So now I'm the champ.
Now you got the belt right there, but you're stepping up in weight class right now to take on Miocic. How difficult is that?
It's going to be tough. He's a big guy. He's the most successful heavyweight champion we've ever had. But I like to chase dreams. Ever from when I was a kid to the Olympics, I've always dreamed real big, and I feel like if I could become the light heavyweight and the heavyweight champion at the same time, this has never been done. Conor McGregor is the only person that's ever held 2 titles simultaneously, but it was 145 and 155. Nobody's done it against a 6'4", 245-pound man like Stipe Miocic. I'm excited about it.
So how much weight do you have to gain?
I'm not going to gain weight to 265. I'm going to probably fight around 228, 229. So I'm going to be about 15, 20 pounds lighter than him, but it's okay. Early in my career, I fought a heavyweight. I fought one heavyweight fight at 224. So it's just a matter of me being fast, in shape, and ready to go.
Daniel Cormier here on the Rich Eisen Show. You mentioned McGregor. On behalf of the Rich Eisen Show here, we appreciate you not throwing a trash can through the window of the bus that we sent for you to come here. So
it was crazy.
Thank you for that, Daniel.
It was crazy. It was crazy. You would think, Rich, that on the way from Ireland, right, somebody would go, hey, Connor, like, I don't know if this is the best idea. Like, you guys flew 5.5 hours.
Is there any talking him down off of something?
They went 5.5 hours. They flew 5.5 hours from Dublin to New York City, and him and his boys were on that private plane, and they were going, and they were like, when we see Khabib and this team, we're going to get him. And then when they got to the arena and kind of grabbed the dolly, nobody ever goes, hey, maybe we should approach this in a different way. But that's Connor, right? He's so big, not only in that action, but just in his fight career in general. So I guess it's kind of what you come to expect.
So who's your training partner right now?
Cain Velasquez,
okay.
Former UFC heavyweight champion, 2-time champ. I still believe he's the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. And I've got some other guys that I'm bringing in.
Any connection to Khabib?
Khabib will be in the gym,
okay,
but he's too small. He can't really train with him.
No, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is I'm trying to see, your take on McGregor.
Yeah.
With going against
my teammate Khabib, yeah.
Pretty much. So, okay, I just want to put it all on the table right here.
Yeah.
Do you think any of that was staged?
No.
Not at all. Nothing at all. Because didn't Conor get credentialed to have to get in the building?
No, so Conor has...
Do you have a ticket?
No, he's the biggest star. Right? And not only in MMA, like in sport, he's one of the biggest stars in sport.
Correct.
He has his own group of photographers. It's called the Mac Life, the McGregor Life. They are credentialed to go to UFC events.
Right.
One of the guys that works for the Mac Life opened the door and let him in to the arena. So one of the guys that he employs was there to film it, and he opened the door, and then Conor and the boys got into the arena.
So do you think he regrets this? No.
I think he does. He's put out some tweets on Instagram. He said, if you don't learn from lessons, then you're not smart. It's only a lesson. Every day is a chance to learn. So I think he regrets it a little bit. I think he regrets the action. He's a very smart man. It's crazy because normally everything with him is calculated, right? He does things to get to the next thing. And I think on this one, he just kind of dealt with emotion for the first time. And dealing with emotion at times can get you kind of in trouble. So
can somebody talk you down? I mean, I've seen some of your John Jones press conferences,
no.
Daniel.
Once it's a go, it's a go. But with us, it was in the moment. We didn't have 5.5 hours on a private plane from Dublin to go to Brooklyn.
Doesn't it seem like a guy, again, I always think of a Guy Ritchie movie with him, that he gets on a plane and the camera's in front. Just if I had to direct the scene, the camera's in front of him and he's staring directly in the camera, wordlessly. Doesn't even read a book for 5.5 hours on the flight. Not reading a book, not listening to anything, not watching a DVD. He's just staring, thinking about what he's going to do once he gets to Brooklyn.
And then, honestly, man, the visual, right? Like, this is going to cost him. He's going to have to pay these guys that were injured on the bus. But that visual of him leaving the courthouse in the handcuffs and stuff, man, that's going to play in people's minds forever. It's like, I don't know how, even though he's a genius, I don't know how he's going to spin this one. That's one that I'm wondering, how's he going to spin it? I wonder if he's going to say something like, I came out of the courthouse like an old school gangster in Brooklyn, like, Al Capone or something. You don't know because he has a way of spinning things. And I'm just kind of interested to see how he's going to try to spin this deal.
You don't think he's going to spin it into a fight against Khabib?
Oh, he will. He's going to fight Khabib.
And everybody's going to be behind. Everyone's going to be like, well, if he did that with his boss, then maybe we got to tune in to see what's going on in the octagon.
It's going to be a massive fight. But I'm saying, like, how do you spin that bad visual into something to help you build a fight? If anybody can try to do that, it'll be McGregor, I bet.
Couple more minutes here with Daniel Cormier. So what's your end game here? What do you see for your career?
Yeah.
How old are you right now?
I'm 39, man. I'm out by next year. Like, by the time I turn 40, March 20th, 2019, I'm out. So
you don't have any breeze in you?
No.
I mean, look at Breeze. Look what he's doing at 40 right now.
Let me tell you something. He's found the
QB of the Saints, man.
He's found the fountain of youth, and I hope we can keep it going forever.
And he wears pads and a helmet.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. The way he stands behind there and he's looking over the line. I just love the way his neck is so craned up, trying to look over the offensive lineman to throw it on the field. I'm like, man, you got to think like he's that short, and he can't see the guys, right? Is there any way he sees these guys? It's almost like they're on instinct.
There are times where maybe he's blocked out.
Yeah.
But he is so incredibly accurate
he's the best.
And prepared. and knowledgeable that he outdoes it all.
Rich, I
He's
don't.
first ballot material
yeah.
now. But you don't believe you can continue fighting at 40?
I could, but I don't need to. I care about like my legacy and everything. A lot of your guys, if Muhammad Ali went out on his back, it can happen to any of us in fighting because that's what happens, right? Your heroes, they go out on their back in fighting and in combat sports. And I don't want to be one of those guys. I want to be one of those guys that goes off and does my thing and leaves my legacy intact. I've main evented and been at the top of the card my entire UFC career. I don't want to end up fighting on like the prelims or in the opener of a pay-per-view. I want to stay in these spots that I've been where it builds to that madness of the main event. The energy is insane. If you've ever been to UFC, man, the energy of a big fight. When I fight Jones or Anderson, by the time we get in that cage, it feels like the roof is going to fly off the T-Mobile Arena or the Honda Center because people are just so riled up. And I don't want to be fighting early in the night and not really experiencing that anymore. I care about my legacy.
So you're saying you get to Lesnar, that's it?
I get to Lesnar. I get this title with Stipe, and then I get to Lesnar or Jones when he comes back.
You'd fight him again?
Oh, yeah, I'd fight him again.
You don't think that he
may never give me may never give me a fair shake, but I want to try to get it done. It means a lot to me to win that fight.
What would it mean?
Completion, right? Because he's the only guy that's beaten me. Nobody else has beaten me. I've lost 2 fights in my career, and they're both been to him. Everybody else I smash. He's the only guy that's shown an ability to compete with me in the octagon. So for me, I need to try to right that.
And you wouldn't be concerned at all that you would be stepping into that octagon on unequal footing?
He'll probably cheat again because that's what he's done every time. Every time we fought, he's tested positive for something. But at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. I like to fight.
All right, before I let you go, tell me about The Ultimate Fighter, premiering tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Tell me about it.
It's awesome. It's a great show, longest running sports reality show in TV. All undefeated fighters, Rich. Every person on that show is undefeated. The fights are great. The coaching staffs, mine and Stipe's, are great. It's just going to be a really good season. It's about the kids. Didn't have Stipe and I running at each other, fighting, arguing. We took a back seat and played a part in these young men's journeys, and it's a real fun season.
And again, tickets for UFC 226 go on sale next week for July 7th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It'll be fun stuff.
Yep.
Hey, Daniel, thanks for coming on. Don't be a stranger. This is the first of hopefully many times you come on.
Please.
What do you think? What do you want the Saints to do next week? What would you like?
Man, I'm a big dreamer. I'm just kind of hoping that they get Sam Darnold. I'm a big dreamer. Let's trade up to #1 so we can have somebody to replace me. I dream big, Rich. Why not shoot for the stars if you're going to shoot?
They might have to go with the Ditka draft plan for that, right? They'd have to give up all their draft picks to get up all the way up there to go do that. Hey, thanks for coming in. Thanks for bringing the hardware.
Yep.
Greatly appreciate that.
Thanks, Rich.
Daniel Cormier here on the Rich Eisen Show. For the TV audience, one more segment with Daniel. Elgin Baylor coming up shortly here on the show. We want your haikus, your sports haikus. I'm loath to say what the rules are. Mike Del Tufo, what are the rules for a haiku? What are the rules for a haiku?
575.
I believe you have already submitted a haiku that may not follow that rule. Look at that look right there. Look at that look right there.
You're terrified.
He's now checking his work. He's checking his work and shaking his head and staring it down.
You don't count syllables, right?
Okay, 575. Brian Urlacher still to come. In the middle of hour number 2. Oops is 1 syllable. So you need 6 more syllables if oops is in the second line of your haiku.
I thought it was words.
Leave it. Leave it. Just don't touch it.
I thought it was words.
Don't touch it. Actually, when we come back, we'll hear your misfired haiku to set the stage. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Thanks for coming, Daniel.
Thank you.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.